Jesus. Truth is not an invention, Nikola. It is not a device, nor a formula. It is a flame hidden within the human heart, waiting to be awakened. Tesla. And yet that flame, Master, has left mankind in darkness for centuries. You speak of hidden light, but when I walked the streets of Europe, I saw candles flickering while the potential of electricity waited to be harnessed. Your flame is poetry. My current is reality. Jesus. You believe reality can be confined to wires and currents? Then tell me, Nikola, what reality drives a man to forgive his enemy? What law of electricity explains sacrifice? Tesla. Forgiveness and sacrifice are not mysteries. They are strategies of survival encoded in the nervous system. When a man sacrifices for his group, the group survives, and so his legacy continues. Biology explains what priests dress in holy robes. Jesus. And yet, there are sacrifices that defy survival. A man lays down his life for a stranger he will never see again. A mother dies for her child without thought of legacy. Love exceeds calculation, Nikola. It is not survival, it is transcendence. Tesla. I respect sacrifice, but I refuse to worship ignorance. Look at history. Your name has been carried into wars, inquisitions, crusades. Faith blinds men with promises of heaven, while science tries to build heaven on earth. Which has saved more lives, prayer or penicillin? Jesus. And yet, science also built bombs that leveled cities, weapons that turned the earth red. If you credit science for medicine, will you not also blame it for destruction? The fault is not in the tool, Nikola, but in the soul of the one who wields it. Tesla. Exactly. That is why I sought to build tools that cannot be monopolized by kings or priests. Free energy for all mankind. No temples, no altars, no rituals, just towers transmitting power across continents. And yet the financiers destroyed me. Your churches grew rich, while my inventions were silenced. Jesus. Riches corrupted both priest and king. I do not deny it. But do not mistake the corruption of men for the truth of the message. My teaching was never coins in a plate or crowns on a throne. It was the call to love your neighbor as yourself. Tesla. And yet your words were twisted, exploited, and obeyed blindly. That is the danger of faith. It cannot be corrected. Science is corrected every day. A failed experiment is tested again until truth emerges. But faith? It resists correction. It demands obedience. Jesus. No, Nikola. True faith does not resist, it transforms. Science can correct a machine, but it cannot correct greed. Science can prolong life, but it cannot tell you why life matters. That is why both must exist. Wisdom to guide knowledge. Tesla. You say wisdom. I say superstition. Your so-called miracles were never recorded in laboratories, never repeated under observation. If you turned water into wine, where is the proof? If you healed the sick, where is the evidence? Jesus. And if love exists, where is the proof? If beauty moves your soul, where is the evidence? Not everything that is real can be weighed and measured. You demand signs written in numbers, but truth often speaks in silence. Tesla. Convenient. Anything that cannot be measured you call divine. That is the refuge of mystics. But I prefer the thunderbolt in my hand, not the whisper in the wind. Jesus. And yet, your thunderbolt was silenced by the greed of men. Your genius was betrayed. Does that not tell you that knowledge without wisdom is powerless? Tesla. No, it tells me humanity chose ignorance over progress. They chose to worship instead of to think. They chose your heaven instead of my electricity. Jesus. Humanity chose what their hearts could grasp. They longed for hope, for meaning. A machine cannot give that. You can electrify a city, Nikola, but can you heal a broken heart? Tesla. I can remove the hunger that breaks it. I can light the darkness that frightens it. I can free the mind to think. That is healing enough. Jesus. And when the mind thinks but the soul still aches, when the lamp burns but the man despairs, tell me, Nikola, what switch do you flip to cure despair? Tesla. Despair is born of ignorance. Teach a man the laws of nature. Free him from superstition, and he will stand with dignity. It is blind faith that keeps him chained. Jesus, no, despair is born of emptiness. You may educate a man, feed him, light his home, but if he does not know who he is, why he exists, he remains in chains. Tesla, then answer me this: why does your God hide? Why leave humanity groping in the dark for meaning, while science illuminates step by step? If your truth is so vital, why veil it in parables? Jesus, because truth must be lived, not forced. A child does not grow strong by being carried forever. He must walk, stumble, and rise. So too humanity must seek, struggle, and discover. Tesla, I cannot accept that. I cannot believe a benevolent creator would allow centuries of disease, famine, and ignorance when a spark of knowledge could save millions. That is not love, that is negligence. Jesus, and yet, Nikola, were you not shaped by struggle? Would you have dreamed of harnessing lightning had you never known the darkness of poverty? Suffering awakens the soul. Without it, man remains asleep. Tesla, that is cruel logic. If a father burns his child to teach him strength, is he loving or monstrous? If a God allows war and plague to awaken men, is he merciful or indifferent? Jesus, a father does not burn his child, Nikola, but life itself burns, and in the fire gold is refined. Tesla, then I reject such fire. I would rather build a world where suffering is eliminated, not glorified. I sought to remove struggle, to give mankind energy without cost, but they chose to bow before altars instead of towers. Jesus, and still your dream lives on. Though you died poor, your inventions changed the world. Does that not tell you that your sacrifice too was not in vain? Tesla, perhaps, but my sacrifice was for progress. Yours was for belief, and belief has shackled more minds than chains. Jesus, and progress without belief becomes tyranny. Knowledge without compassion is the cold blade of a machine. Humanity needs both wings, wisdom and science, or it cannot fly. Tesla, then let the people decide, Master. Let them ask, do they want the promise of heaven or the reality of power in their hands? Jesus, let them decide indeed, Nikola, for truth is not forced, it is chosen. Tesla, and I choose the mind. Jesus, and I choose the heart. Tesla, then perhaps mankind must choose between us. Jesus, or perhaps they must unite us. The lamp of your science, the flame of my wisdom. Together, they may yet illuminate the world. Tesla, or consume it. Jesus, that, Nikola, is in the hands of man.